Hey there, gut loving moms. It's Thursday. It's 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's Facebook Live, and that must mean that it's time for another Gut Love Live session. And this is actually my first time in the kitchen. So anything could happen. This is my first time doing a live demonstration in the kitchen. So we'll see how it goes. Stick with me here. There could be some outtakes from it. But before we get started, let me go ahead and introduce myself just in case you've never joined us for a Gut Love session before. My name is Karen Haley. I'm the digestive coach for moms, and I just want to welcome you old moms, new moms, whoever you are. I want to welcome you to the Gut Love community. It's the place to be if you are trying to move beyond medicine and quiet your gut symptoms so that you can be the mom that you always dreamed you'd be. Sound good? Well, I hope that it sounds good to you because I have a special offer for you before we get started, and it's absolutely free. Have you heard of our Gut Love community yet? It is a group for just moms that I started recently, and right now we're taking founding members into this free group. It's a community where moms just like you can get together, get recipes, community support, encouragement. We can engage with each other. There's going to be videos just for you, master classes just for you, and it's all just for moms who are dealing with gut issues, gut struggles like Crohn's and colitis, celiac and IBS. Or maybe you don't have one of those diagnoses, but you've been dealing with chronic diarrhea or chronic constipation, and you're looking for a place to get support from other moms because who knows what you're going through better than other moms, right? So I want to invite you at this time to become a founding member here to this free community, just a place where I don't know, I always wanted a community like this. I always wanted a place where I could find moms just like me, going through the same kind of struggles just like me, and a place where we could just provide support for each other. And so that's why I formed it, and I hope that it sounds interesting to you. It sounds like it's something that would benefit you, and if you feel that way, I want you to click the link. I think it's right above this video. Click the link right above this video and you can join as a founding member the Gut Love community of moms. All right, now let's get started with our topic today. And our topic today, oh, you know what? Before we do that, I'm just gonna make sure that my computer is hooked up so that we can see if people are live. Let's see. That way, because on my phone, which is what I'm videoing from, I can't see questions that come in, and I know that there have been times when people have made comments and questions and I haven't been able to see what they're saying, so I just wanted to make sure that I can see that today. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna be following along here. So if you're here, say hi. I would love to say hi to you. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the comments. I actually can see my comments now. I've done this before where I have not been able to see the comments, and I apologize for that. But whether you're watching this live or you're watching after the fact, please say hi. Let us know that you're here, and feel free to ask any questions that you have. Okay, so let's talk about today's topic. I'm trying to just see what you guys can see on the video. Okay, so some things I'm probably gonna have to move in so that you can see them, but you can see some things here. All right, so today it's all about the top 3 reasons why you wanna step back from that dairy-free aisle at the grocery store and what you can do instead. And if you're like me, you are struggling with gut issues, and so maybe you've thought about going dairy-free. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about going dairy-free? Maybe you already are dairy-free, because possibly you heard that dairy can cause inflammation, especially when you already have gut struggles going on. You've heard that dairy might not be the best option for you, so you've thought, well, maybe I'll just try this dairy-free thing, right? We've all thought about it. And then you go to your grocery store And if your grocery store is anything like my grocery store, it's now a whole dairy-free aisle paradise, right? We've got cashew milk, we've got almond milk, soy milk, rice milk, hemp milk, coconut milk. Oh, and then there's even combinations of some of those, like almond coconut milk, right? Have you seen this at the grocery store? It's a whole aisle, it's a whole industry now. And so you might be thinking, well, this is so easy. Why don't I just get my dairy-free milk here? And I definitely have thought about that myself. In fact, in the interest of full disclosure here, I want to tell you that I do have those things in my house right now. My kids like that. Let me just show you actually right here. Here's one that's in my house right now. Okay, and then here's another one that's in my house right now. So I've bought these things too. I know all about the convenience of buying these items. I know that that aisle is super alluring, but today I want to talk to you about why it really, if you're trying to heal from gut struggles, why it's best if you just back up from that aisle and do one thing instead. But before we get to what that one thing is, I want to tell you why. Why do you want to stay away from that aisle? And like I mentioned to you guys, I'm dairy-free mostly. I do eat the specific carbohydrate diet yogurt. So if you're having like Crohn's and colitis issues, or even ADHD, there's so many things that the specific carbohydrate diet can help with. So if you've been using that to quiet your symptoms, you know all about this special homemade yogurt. It's very rich in probiotics. So you might be making that already. So I make that, I eat that daily. The probiotic benefits are wonderful from it. But I am dairy-free. Besides that, virtually lactose-free yogurt. I'm dairy-free as well. And like I said, I do go to the grocery store and I buy those things for my kids. There is a lot of research out there that shows that even the store-bought dairy-free milks are okay in moderation. But here's where we are going to differ from those research studies. Okay in moderation for people that don't have gut issues, but not okay if you are struggling with things like Crohn's and colitis and IBS, chronic diarrhea, chronic constipation, or sometimes you might even have both, right? If you're dealing with issues like that, then this is not the milk for you. Okay, I'm just gonna look real quick and make sure that we're still live here. I am seeing some people come on, so thanks very much. Say hi in the comments. So anyway, if you're dealing with those gut issues, you may want to step away. And there's 3 reasons why. 3 main reasons I want to share with you. And they're all about the ingredients in these kinds of commercially made milks. So here's reason number 1. Reason number 1 is the sugar. Now, the 2 that I showed you here, they're unsweetened, okay? But you can get it sweetened, and most of them are sweetened, and they don't tell you that there's sugar in them. It's not like the one that has sugar says sweetened with sugar on it, right? It's just the original one. Let me tell you, the sugar content in that is insane. It's got so much sugar in it. So reason number 1 you want to stay away from that is the sugar. And why would somebody with gut struggles want to stay away from sugar? Well, that sugar inside your gut is really harmful to the good bacteria, and it feeds the bad bacteria in there. So we want to avoid sugar. So that's reason number 1 is the sugar. Reason number 2 would be the carrageenan. Have you heard about carrageenan? Now I want to say this is an additive that is put in many things, but those dairy-free milks is one of those things it's put in. It's a thickener and a stabilizer, and so it gives the milk that pretty color, that pretty, I want to say color, but it's not really color. It doesn't separate, so it makes sure that it just looks all like one thing, where you don't want the water to be at the top and cream on the bottom. You know what I'm talking about? It makes it just look really nice and pretty. But unfortunately, and especially for people that have gut issues, carrageenan is something you definitely want to stay away from. It's been linked to diarrhea, abdominal pain, leaky gut, which if you have chronic gut struggles, let me tell you, you probably have leaky gut. And leaky gut are those holes in the intestinal lining where food is getting through and going into your bloodstream. These are not good things for people with gut struggles. So number one was sugar. Number two is the carrageenan. And I do have to say that if you go to these companies' websites that make the dairy-free milk, and you also look on the back of their package for the ingredients, they are taking it away. So even they know that carrageenan is not good for you. So when I was looking into which ones had carrageenan, it was actually hard to find ones that did have it. So I do have to say that many of these companies are getting away from that one thing. Not so much the sugar, but guess what they're replacing the carrageenan with? Gums, guar gum, gellan gum, locust bean gum. So these work in much the same way. And so they're replacing the carrageenan with these gums. And I have to say that again, a lot of the research that I've looked at says that in moderation, in very small use, those might be okay if you don't have any gut struggles. Hey there, how you doing? Those might be okay if you don't have any gut struggles, but if you are dealing with gut issues, guar gum, all of those gums, locust bean gum, gellan gum, they can be really inflammatory to your gut. So that is another reason number three, that you want to stay away from these commercial, these grocery store nut milk and all of those type of variety milks that are out there. And I actually have a bonus reason. This is tip number 4, or reason number 4 to stay away, and that's something called natural flavors. This term of natural flavors comes up on so many products, right? If you're like me and you're a big label reader, you'll notice in the ingredients this natural flavors, and you might be thinking, well, it's natural. That's got to be good for me. It's natural, right? Well, natural flavors are in so many of these commercially processed nut milks and other dairy-free milks. And it really is to our detriment, especially when we have gut struggles. Because here's the thing about the word natural. Natural is not FDA regulated. So do you know what that means for you? That means that it could be anything. I'm going to throw out an example here. I'm not saying that it's in there in any way, shape, or form, but what I have to say is it could be, right? Cow poop. I know, gross, right? But cow poop, that's natural, right? Is that in any of these products that are claiming that they're natural? We have no idea, because the word natural, we don't really know what that means. And so we're seeing this in so many things, and it could be something completely innocuous, but we don't really know. Natural flavors could really mean anything. Okay, so those are my top 3, plus the bonus reason why you want to just step away from the dairy-free aisle and do something else instead. Let me go over those one more time. And this all has to do with, remember, the ingredients in these commercially processed milks, especially if you're having gut issues and you're trying to heal. Okay, so reason number 1 was the sugar content. Many of these are very high in sugar, not good for your gut. Reason number 2 was the carrageenan, that thickener that just makes the milk all come together, that they are definitely removing. I have to give them credit and say many of them are removing it. And then thirdly was the gums, the locust bean gum and the gellan gum. Not good if you're having gut struggles. And the bonus reason number 4, was these natural flavors. Now, when I was getting ready for this live, I went online and looked at some of the ingredients in some of these commercially processed dairy-free milks, and I wrote it down. So let me just get this paper here. Okay, so these are probably ones that you're buying at the grocery store. So I looked at the Silk Organic. Now this is organic. I looked at the Silk Organic regular almond milk, just the regular one. And so there were those gut disrupting ingredients in there. Sugar, locust bean gum, and gellan gum, all in there. I looked at Almond Breeze. This is just their regular Almond Breeze. This is the almond milk. Sugar, natural flavors, and gums, okay? Again, all gut disruptors. And then lastly, Califia Farms, one that really touts themselves as a gourmet type of alternative, right? I saw in there, and this was the unsweetened variety, so no sugar, but it did have gums as well as natural flavors. I want to know, what does that natural flavors mean? What are natural flavors? So you might be able to call the company and find out what natural flavors means, but again, it's not regulated, so we don't really know. If we don't call the company, we don't really know what it means. Okay, so that's just 3 that I looked up. You know, there's tons of different brands, tons of different varieties, but those are the 3 ones that I looked up. And so they were all, I really couldn't find a single commercially prepared dairy-free milk that I really thought had quality ingredients. And that was kind of sad, you know? When we're dealing with gut issues and we want to quiet our gut symptoms, we're thinking, I'm gonna go dairy-free and this is gonna be great. And then we're buying these commercially processed milks, these dairy-free milks, and we're actually doing more harm than good. So here's the question. Here's the best part about this. The best part is, what can you do about it? And I am so happy to tell you that there is absolutely something you can do about it. You can so easily, with very few ingredients, you can make your own at home. This is awesome because you know what the exact ingredients are. You know that it doesn't contain sugar or gums or carrageenan or natural flavors. You know that all it contains is nuts and water, or coconut and water, right? These ingredients are super simple. And then if you wanted to add your own sweetener, your own unrefined sweetener like dates or honey or maple syrup, you could add that at home. Then you're gonna know exactly what's in it. Now, right, I said now, full disclosure here, like I said, it tastes different, and also my kids don't like it. So I just want to be really open and upfront here. I showed you the ones that I'm buying for my kids, and that's what they prefer. And we do put our own sweeteners in it if they're using it for, like if they're gonna just drink it straight, they might add some honey or dates or something like that. But, but when I make it, I make my own. All right, and like I said, really simple. And I don't want to leave you hanging. I want you to know exactly how to do this. I want you to see how simple it is. But again, being completely honest with you, I know that this is the point where some moms are going to say, it's so much easier to just go to the grocery store, take it off the shelf, and bring it home. And I know, you're right. You are 100% right. It is 100% easier to do that than to make it at home. But here's the thing. It's going to actually end up taking you more time, because when you then drink those milks and then you're sick because of it, and you have to spend the day on the couch or in bed because you have to keep going to the bathroom, or your stomach just feels bloated and you just don't feel well, that's taking more time now, isn't it? Right? So I say just take the 5 minutes it takes to go ahead and just make this at home, and then you know that you're drinking a product that's going to help heal your gut, not cause harm to it. So how do we do this? Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you need are nuts. I'm going to show you guys these. These are almonds, but you can make this with anything, any kind of nut. I mentioned coconut. You can make it with coconut. Cashews, these are almonds though. You can make it with almonds. Now, here's what I did with these almonds, and this is the longest part of this. You have to soak them. Now, you do soak them, but that's all you do. You just soak them and leave them. So here's what I do. At night before I go to bed, I just put a cup of almonds in a bowl, and I fill that bowl with water. You want to make sure that the almonds are all covered. Right? So just fill the water enough to cover the almonds, and then just set your bowl aside and do nothing else with it. So that just took me, like 30 seconds to just do that and then set it aside. Then in the morning, I get the nuts out and I drain them. So I've already drained these, so I just have the nuts. And then I get out my blender. So here's the blender, and I don't think you guys can see this, so I'm just gonna bring it over here. So this is the top of my blender. Okay, I'm just gonna open it. And then to the blender, I'm gonna add 3 to 4 cups of water. This is just regular water, filtered. You wanna get the highest quality water that you can. So that's just water. And then to that, you're just gonna add your nuts. That's it. It's that simple. Really, there's only 3 steps here. There's the soak, the blend, and the squish. The soak, the blend, and the squish. And I feel like since we're talking about nuts here, we're getting a little bit into PG-13, right? When I say those things out loud, it sounds kind of risque, but we're just talking about almonds here. But the 3 steps for making the nut milk are soak, blend, and squish. So we did the soaking, I already mentioned that. We're about to blend. Now, this is real-time video, but I really want you to leave here knowing exactly how to do this. So I am gonna go ahead and blend it. It takes 1 minute to blend. Now, in that time it takes to blend, it's gonna take 1 minute. It is gonna be a little bit loud, so you can plug your ears. We'll do some dancing, we'll do a little bit of meditation, whatever we can do, I'll let you know how long it's taking, and it'll only take 1 minute. If you wanna go grab a quick cup of tea, do that. Okay, I'll tell you when I'm gonna start. But like I said, I really want you to see how easy this is. So I wanna do it all live in real time. All right, my lid is here. Okay guys, are you ready? Here's that 1 minute. Go run, pat Johnny on the head, go grab a cup of tea, do some yoga with me. 1 minute, I promise, 1 minute. Here we go. Guys, for a minute there. Let's see if we're still live. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I don't see that we're live. So give me a second to refresh. Let me see here. Does it look like, If you're watching this live, tell me if we're live. Let me just look real quick here. Now my screen has frozen up. Oh, the magic of television, of video, right? Okay, let's see. Nope, now my screen has froze. I really want to make sure that you guys get all of this, so I'm just going to make sure first that we're live. Okay, now my computer is just gone. I want to make sure that we're live, so just give me a second and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, it looks like we're still live. You're still... Okay, yeah, we're live. Okay. Sorry for that close-up there. Okay, so the screen cut out while we were doing the blending. So how was your yoga? How are your kids? Did you get a cup of tea? I hope you did something for that 1 minute, but it's done now. I'm going to grab my tea. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Oh, my computer came back. Let me just refresh this and make sure that we're still live. I'm right here. Wonders of technology. Okay, stay with me here, because trust me, this is worth it. Okay, yes, we're still live. we go. Now, I'm gonna take this off my blender. So here's what it looks like now. Remember, it was the nuts and then water, and here's what it looks like when it's done. So now what you get is this whitish liquid. I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you look really closely, you'll see that there's a bunch of brown bits on the top, and that's the skin of the almond and little almond bits, and you don't want that in your almond milk, right? So now we need to strain it. And so it's really helpful to have this. If you're gonna do this a lot, it's helpful to have this. This is a nut milk bag. You can get this at Amazon. I've had this for years. But you could also use a cheesecloth or a really thin towel. It will also work, but you have to strain it through something, and it's a little bit messy, so I'm gonna take my rings off. Okay, here we go. So here's a bowl. I'm gonna move this out of the way so you can see this. Let me just push this forward here. Okay, now I'm gonna pour it into the nut milk bag. Okay. Remember I said those steps were soak, blend, and squish? Now it's time for the squish, the fun part. And this is the part your kids are gonna love. So I picked this glass bowl. It's a little bit smaller than what I would typically use, but I really wanted you to be able to see it. So I just turned this around so that none comes out the top, and I'm gonna start squishing. Kind of like what you would do if you were milking a cow. You're just gonna squish it. If you've got kids, trust me, they are gonna love this part. My kids love this. I also get the pleasure of going and teaching nutrition classes in schools. I always do this with the kids. They absolutely love it, right? The kids wanna all come up and milk the cow. I always say to them, where does milk come from? And they all say, cows, cows, cows. And then I show them that you can actually get milk from a nut. It's really fun. Okay, so there's that. And then this you can just put in a mason jar. I like the wide mouth mason jars because it's easier to pour. So I would just put this in my mason jar, and then I would put that in the refrigerator. It will last between, I keep it maybe 5 days. It'll last about 5 days in your refrigerator, and sometimes I go through it quicker than that. But this was just the 4 cups, 3 to 4 cups of water, the cup of almonds, and then you just do the blending, and then you're just gonna put it in here. So really, it's not that complicated. It's really simple, and you're ensuring your gut health, right? Okay, now I wanna show you guys something really cool. Okay, check this out. This is that bag, right? This is what I squeezed the nut milk through. Okay, watch what's in here. Okay, did you see all that? I will get it closer to the screen too. I'm just gonna clean up my hands. Okay, put my rings back on. Now, check this out. This is called almond pulp. Can you guys see that? Yeah, that's called almond pulp. That's what's left over after you've made your almond milk. Well, guess what? It's like using all the parts of the chicken. You can use all the parts of the nut. Here's what I do with this. I take this and I make these. Can you guys see that? These are called almond pulp treats. That's kind of what I named them, almond pulp treats. So you take this and then you can make an awesome treat out of it too. So you're using all parts of the nut. How much do I love that? I love that. I hope you love that too. Let me know if you love that, because I think that's fantastic. And so I just add a few ingredients and then I make this. Okay guys, here's how I want to wrap this up. There are so many things that you can do with the almond milk. And I really want you to be able to do those things, like make this. So I included in this video, I think if you click the link right above, not the Gut Love community video, if you want to join the Gut Love community, that link is there, but there's another link. I'm just giving away tons of stuff for free today. There's another link there with recipes. The recipe that I used to make this almond milk, so you don't have to be writing anything down. This recipe here for those, and then I think there's also a couple other recipes on there. Right now I'm thinking of a smoothie recipe that I included, and there might be one more there too. So there's a lot you can do with your almond milk or nut milk or whatever kind of milk you choose to make in your house. Really simple, just those 3 steps. Soak, blend, squish, right? And yes, it will take you a little bit more time than just buying it at the grocery store, but for your gut health, so worth it. And then you can use it to make treats like this. You could use your milk just like that. Now, if you make this at home yourself, you might be saying, well, I add vanilla to mine, or I add cinnamon, or I add dates, or I add honey, or maple syrup, or whatever it is that you add to it. I don't tend to drink mine straight. So I don't add anything to it, because when I'm making something with it, then I'll add it. For example, I like to make hot chocolate with it. So I take a nice, lovely cacao and I pour it in, and then I'll add some vanilla to it and a tiny bit of honey, and then I'll drink that. I just heat it up and drink it. So good. Another thing I do with it is I use it as the liquid to make smoothies. Well, if I'm doing that, then I'm just going to add the ingredients. So I don't tend to put anything in it. But if you're going to be drinking it, if you're going to be giving it to your kids to drink, then you're going to want to put something in it. Some people even put like a little dash of salt, because the salt brings out the sweetness in whatever sweetener you put in. So it's up to you. You can put whatever you want to put in it. I just tend to make mine plain, because then I add it to different things. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Now, remember the 2 things that you can get for free today. You can be a founding member and join the Gut Love community. Link is right above the video. If you've got gut struggles, I really think this is going to be a positive, beneficial place for you to get that support, encouragement, and really feel empowered as a gut-loving mom. So join us as a founding member for that group. And then if you want to get these free almond milk and almond pulp recipes, the link for that is there as well. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, I would love to know what you do with almond milk. How do you make your almond milk? Oh, and you know what? While I'm thinking of it, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to include another link on there as well. Just a couple days ago, I was looking on mindbodygreen.com. Do you guys know that website? If you have never been there, definitely check them out. mindbodygreen.com. They just have tons of natural health and healing information. And I was on there and I just happened to see, it was a post about making your own milk, your dairy-free milk at home in 5 minutes or less. In fact, I think it said under 5 minutes. I think that's what it said. So here's what they do. Instead of soaking the nuts, they'll use, and so we used almonds today. So instead of soaking the almonds, they're using almond butter, and then you can make it in 5 minutes. Genius, right? So I think that's absolutely fantastic. And then they had another recipe there, and it was for coconut milk, and they just used shredded coconut, and they made that in under 5 minutes. I absolutely love that. So I'm going to put the link in this video as well. And so that's mindbodygreen.com. You can use the method that we talked about today. It really doesn't take, it's that one extra step. It's that soaking step. But if you feel like you just don't have time to do that, then check out the recipes at mindbodygreen.com, because you can make it really quick there too. Okay, that's it for today. I don't really think there were too many bloopers. There was the time when we completely cut out. I don't know what happened there, but I think I will do another Facebook Live in the kitchen, because I enjoy cooking with you guys. So go ahead and click the links above this video. You can get the recipes for everything we talked about today. You can join the Gut Love community. And so I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know how you're doing. Say hi. And until we meet again next week, that's Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I want to wish you much gut love and happiness always. Mwah. Bye for now. Everybody take care. Have a good week.